What is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Welcome back to the live stream. Got a really exciting one for you today. It finally looks, after waiting for decades, after waiting for pretty much 2 months here, it looks like that you will finally, break upward for Bitcoin, which is, a long time coming here. I would say a long time coming. That's what we've been kind of, really waiting for here. And yeah, I mean, I think these trades that I've been, in terms of swing trade perspective, have, been in a while, and they will, eventually jump up. They're over here on BYDFI. If you guys are interested in trading, check out the pinned chat for that's BloFin. That's a good promo too. No KYC, no VPN. On either of those, here it ends in 1 day. That's why I'll chill it to you guys now a bit. 20% cash back. It's a good promo. They don't always do this, at least not this good. 1,000 futures bonus deposit 700. The one on BYDFI is deposit 20K, 2,000, or these other options. Check it out. 20% of your fees for life. Pin chat and below and comment down below. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so the thing, Plan E. What's going on, man? What's up, Johnny M too? Shout out to Johnny M. What's up, Carlton Way? Really appreciate you, man. So the thing is, yeah, and guys, smash the like button. Always appreciate that. But the thing too is, like, the big place, and I like my 200 SMA here. The big place is going to be like 102. I think 108K is possible. Breaking above 108K and hitting like 116, these areas, like, here's where it gets spicy, because you could rally to a new all-time high, or by the end of the year, maybe this spider line, 150, 160. I don't think that's likely. Again, I don't think that's likely. I think we're gonna probably, reject from like the 200 daily SMA here, as we did last kind of bear market and the one before. You could jump up, 108, but I think holding 108 is important, and this is going to keep going down going down a bit more as we do hit it. So 103, 102. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know the exact number that you'll end up at, but you'll probably end up here by the next FOMC meeting. And I think that you're looking at essentially a 96% chance of no change all the way into April. I think you just irritated Powell more here, and he's probably gonna, sound more hawkish. The other thing too is Ben Cowan made a video, not a TA video, for the first time ever, I think. It's pretty good. He was talking about, the Fed and all that. And, I think a lot of us forget, including myself a lot of times, is that, when you were just replacing Powell doesn't automatically mean rates will go down. There's other people that are part of that decision, as well. So it's not just Powell. So just replacing him doesn't mean rates will, necessarily go down a lot. And if we look at the Fed Watch tool here, we got fear and greed. Let's look at the Fed Watch tool right here. I just want to go way out in the future to what's going to potentially happen. If you go all the way out to September, it's only one rate cut. I mean, I guess it could be two. It doesn't look like it's going to be that much. Okay, that's that would be 2 rate cuts, I guess. 350. Yeah, that's 2 rate cuts. I mean, maybe 3 into the end of the year. Maybe that's only 2. So 2 rate cuts. So you're probably going to see mortgage rates go down a bit, especially if your, traditional markets go down a bit. I think they would. I think they will. And yeah, I mean, what's up, Zach? Yeah, I think that ETH probably will continue to generally outperform Bitcoin here. That would be my guess. I think you're going to jump up. I mean, I think we're really going to have to, if this happens, we really got to really reevaluate ETH. But we need ETH to outperform. We need others to, we need, and I think they will. It's just picking the right ones. I think ETH is obviously the safest bet right now. ETH even looks slightly more attractive to me than Bitcoin right now, but to be honest with you guys, neither of them look extremely attractive at the moment, because I do think you're going to eventually, drop down to like, somewhere between like probably 48 to 50K to 60K, for a Bitcoin. That's where you get into much better, deals. If we look at our weekly here, and this is huge, guys, I think this just happened at the weekly close 2 days ago. See how you're all gray on these EMAs? This is huge right here. You're all gray on these EMAs. When's the last time that happened? I mean, you had this jump up, you turned gray, and then you fell off a cliff. That was April. We're 3 months earlier than that right now, about 3 months earlier. So keep that in mind. The last time, I mean, you had pandemic, that was your black swan. I wouldn't really count that, but same situation here. You went sideways, then you dropped downward. That was interesting. I mean, this was just a, sideways between, I don't know, 6 to 5 to 10K for a while. And then you fell off. But I mean, if you got in obviously at 5, 6K back here, not a bad place. I mean, a 10X still, that's pretty damn good if I do say so myself. So, there's that situation. So emergency rate cuts, you would need things to really fall apart. Like I would see emergency rate cuts would look like, I mean, that would probably be, okay. So, Powell was hawkish during this area. Unemployment's higher now, but you would need you would probably need this, I would say. What's this? At least 20% or more. I mean, you'd need to be quick and downward. I would say it's gonna, just doing this is not enough. 13%, which that's kind of what I would, if I had to guess, 13% this summer, and then in the second half of the year, you sideways to more bullish maybe. What's going on? What's going on, CVO? What's going on, Paul? Appreciate you, man. We got to get you on. We got to get a collab. I'll shoot you a DM. I'm very curious what you think. I'm more in the bear camp. I've been kind of, I think I told the last time I talked to you, I was a little bit more scared, and sometimes being scared. A veces tener miedo es podría ser bueno. So, pues, so far, this market, so far we've kind of, I think that, S&P 500 is going to come down. I think if you're Powell, you're going to do all that you can to knock down silver. I think more money may come into some energy stuff. Some people like uranium. I bought Oxy. That's what I would kind of bet on. I missed out on silver, but I've always been in gold. Not a crazy amount, but I've always been in gold. I guess you could rally up to 113. It's just, how quickly can Powell get at a podium and knock us down? That's what I would say. I'm curious about silver versus SPY, I guess, just to see if there's any major point that, yeah. So the thing here too that's really interesting. I got out, bro, big time, towards the end of April. So I kind of avoided a 50% correction for a lot of alts, which is good. And I'm in conservative stuff like frickin' Berkshire Hathaway. I just had having my 95th birthday coming up, so you gotta. I was visiting my grandma, who's visiting family, and saw my grandma who's 95 years old. You gotta invest like a 95-year-old sometimes, but. Berkshire, it'll probably come down. I do think, I'm just trying to outperform the SPY here. So things that, obviously I don't think silver is gonna, I think this is what my guess is for silver versus SPY, something like that, kind of choppy, sideways, boring. And then, 20, maybe into mid 2030s like that. And that would be kind of, here was steadily. I think this time is gonna be a little bit more choppy because you saw some craziness here. I don't think we're going into a recession, just yet. I don't think we're going into a recession just yet. I think it's going to be a couple more years. There's the inverted yield curve and all that cool stuff people like to talk about. I think it'll be a couple more years. Helium, okay. That's just funny. I wonder, are you talking about helium, the crypto, or actual helium that you breathe in and it makes your voice all high? Would I answer questions? Yeah, I'll try to. But yeah, so there's that. BRK, things that may hold up against this. So I think it's still it's against that low right there that I'm just trying to outperform the SPY here. Oxy too, in terms of energy, right there getting a jump against the SPY. So I kind of am taking this trade right here. I think your number one goal as a trader, especially in a frickin', uncertain market, just try to get some jumps off the S&P 500. I wanted to look at uranium and other metals. I'm not any, expert on metals by any means. I don't know, the uranium ETF. There's a few of them. What's the market cap of this? I have no idea. Total holdings 50. They own 50 uraniums. This is for nuclear power, I think, right? Yeah. I would guess longer term this would keep going up. I don't know. I mean, let's look at this versus SPY because that's our goal. Just outperform the damn SPY. Yeah, I mean, it's outperformed it in the last 4 or 5 years. So, I mean, that's pretty good. I do think you may be able to keep going here. So, yeah. CVO, if you're still there, Paul, if you're still there, curious about your take. I mean, I'm sure you probably would be bullish in the short term, thinking we could hit 102 or whatever. I'd be curious your take. I'll get you on definitely. Helium that you breathe in. Oh, interesting. So yeah. Anyway, guys, always appreciate your special like button, all that. TLT. I think this will generally go up. It's going to take its damn time. The thing too is what I wanted to show you guys. It's similar to this situation, I think, and you didn't really get a big jump up. You know, if you compare it to here, yeah, end of decade, you know, similar to that situation, then you start a nice rally. So yeah, month by month. So I think February is probably going to be a red month. You know, month by month, I don't know. I can't predict every single month, but I do think you'll see a bottom for Bitcoin sometime between May to October. So yeah, what's up, AZTV? Been a second. Oh no, it hasn't been too long. Hope you're doing well. Curious what you think of the market. I think triple Q probably could hit this area and then reject. You know, if SPY corrects, let's say 15, this will probably correct 20. Maybe down here, maybe the peaks. Well, SPY corrects 10 is correct. I don't know. I do think you're going to see a couple bearish months here. You know, interesting thing, real estate's getting a little jump, and I think what Trump's doing may help out the real estate market just a little bit. Maybe with interest rates going down a little bit. Yields are going up. Yeah, that's the thing too with the Powell. I mean, yeah, I'm just thinking here. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of going, yeah. That monthly, I mean, you're probably sideways bullish for a little bit, but if asset prices go down, this should go down. I don't know. I'm kind of neutral on this right now. Like I mentioned with the TLT, it could be very boring for a few more years there. Oh, appreciate you, Vinvin. Yeah, I was on Paul's Data Dash. So yeah, there's that. I mean, we'll look at ETH. I think you may 35 to 36. I'm looking at. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it'll eventually come back to. You know, it'll eventually see a jump. I would think. You know, early next decade. You know, while away. I think the thing though is like, I mean. Let's just look at if you're trying to TLT versus SPY right now, like what'll probably, I don't know if I would buy the TLT over SPY. That's the thing, because it's like, well, if the SPY does go down, this will get a little jump against it. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. And there's other bonds. There's BND. I mean, let's look at BND versus SPY. I mean, that's a little bit, it's because of corporate ones too and other stuff. So yeah, so there's that. What was I going to say here? Shoot. Let's see. Just thinking here, thinking about what I wanna. Okay, so that was that one. Man, why am I'm just thinking. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, like, I mean, Oxy we think will do well, or I think will. The freaking Russell, yeah. It's not, what's the Russell? It's Russell. What's the, yeah, this one. That's interesting too. Let's look at the Russell versus the SPY here. People are thinking this will come up, and it outperformed from that 10-year period. Now, I don't think it outperformed gold or silver though. I don't know if this is a worthwhile thing, but I could see having some exposure to this. Definitely could work out, outperform the SPY. I want to look at this against the NASDAQ as well. Yeah, it probably will see a jump or something. I also want to look at this against, I don't know, silver. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, nothing goes down forever. Yeah. Is that, okay. That's the thing, that area. I don't know. I would say sideways for a few years, then silver will outperform it a bit more, maybe than those lows. I mean, the IWM, To get some exposure right now, not bad. But I do think, like, let's look at here's a good question. Let's see, can this outperform, Oxy or whatever? Maybe, maybe it can. I mean, big decent area. Maybe it continue to go up. I don't know. Tough to say. Some exposure does make sense here, I would say. I'm a little bit more bullish on metal, or not metals, excuse me, like energy stuff. Exxon. I mean, if you're thinking uranium is going to keep going up, probably, well, it's not nuclear, but probably like Exxon to, Oxy, petroleum, like these type of things. This is the one Buffett's got. I mean, so a lot of money is going to pipe in because Buffett's average price was, what, 50? I mean, he's not down that much, but, probably will come up. I don't know. In terms of oils, I mean, there's this one people look at. You got some volatility. It'll probably come up a bit. You got Trump in, though. I mean, how much are oils going to come up? It's probably more energy stuff, like, Chevron, that type of thing. That would be a little bit of a safer bet, higher market cap, that type of stuff. Get your crypto oils, man. Crypto oils. Crypto oils. Crypto oils. But yeah, let's see here. Let's see. Uniswap. People have talked about the harmonic on this. I don't know if I would bet on this right now. Too boring. So it's Uniswap. Chainlink I'd rather bet on, I think. Chainlink I'd rather bet on. Let's see. Bitcoin along from 84. Sol. Okay. Nice, man. I mean, all those coins probably, that's the thing, all those alts have a good shot of outperforming Bitcoin until the freaking end of the decade, you know what I mean, next couple of years. I guess sweet, it depends. Maybe one of them will kind of be lackluster, but probably 2 out of 3 of those, will do well. I mean, you look at Chainlink, that looks pretty good. It'd probably jump up a bit more here. And, before Powell knocks this down. What date is I think it's in 2 weeks, FOMC, January 28th, so end of month. Yeah, they're about, so about 10, 2 more weeks potentially, outperforming and, coming up. Don't sleep on Tau. Yeah, 8-hour XRP. Right now, probably XRP. 8 looks a little weird. What is Paul's? I would guess is Paul for XRP? I don't know. I mean, nobody, it's hard to say, but, Tau is a newer one. I'm trying to find a chart with more data here. I don't know. This is a weird freaking, I want to see what the hell this does in the next 6 months before I pull the trigger. I think that when probably, I think that metals probably will be sideways against the SPY for a couple more years, and then they'll jump up around the next recession or whatever. I mean, metals, I think uranium could be a good buy. I kind of like energy the most at the moment for like the next 6 months. Because silver's hitting a good point against, I want to look at silver Berkshire Hathaway too. If there's any like big point that we're kind of hitting, because I don't imagine this just going straight up to these highs, immediately. What we could try here, go like that. Yeah, so maybe a little bit more over the next week, and then at that point, you're already hitting that point against the SPY for silver. So yeah, I just want to look at Berkshire Hathaway Gold as well here. So I think that COVID low is big. Look at this right here. See, deep anchor wave. I think just holding that is pretty big and would give some strength, at least temporarily, for next year or 2 years for traditional markets versus gold. So keep that in mind. I keep forgetting is it W? No, it's not. This is one people like to look at, but the Russell. I want to look at the Russell versus gold. Yeah, this versus gold. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would think that this could see a jump against gold relatively soon. I want to look at the freaking, yeah. Here's the million. Did Buffett did that outperform Buffett? No, barely. Yeah, since no, you just generally always, yeah, you always, I mean, I'd rather buy Berkshire than this generally. You've always come down against Buffett. Yeah, yeah. Hmm, hmm. Miami real estate futures trying to come up a little bit. Yeah. Hmm. That's chain link right there. Here are the trades, guys. Doing not too shabby. If you guys are interested in trading, check out the pin chat for BloFin. Some good promos going on right now, guys. Check it out. As you can see right here in BidFi, deposit 20K, get 2,000, deposit 5K, 500. You know the deal. Ends tomorrow, though, by the way. Last day, January 7th to 14th. 7K, 1K, futures bonus, 20% for your fees for life. So check it out if you guys are interested. Links down below. Remember, if you deposit at least under $50 on either of those exchanges, I'll give you one free month in the Aldo Empire VIP Discord. We got Nightshade in there. I got a lot of good people, a lot of good analysis in there. So yeah. Let's see. That's Chainlink. And then I want to look at just some TradFi a little bit. Although you guys probably already know what I think. I think these will come down some more. Come down some. If you can get this at like 50% down, I mean, that could be pretty good. I mean, this was probably like freaking what, 70? Yeah, that got destroyed. Destroyed, I'll tell you. But that would be a decent deal. Probably that 2 week, weekly or 2 week, SMA, 200 SMA. That'd be a good place. See right there, this area, most of these do pretty well. I mean, you came back in time so far there. I don't know if I'd be the biggest, proponent of Algorand. Yeah, let's take a look at that. I haven't. I'm sure that thing has not done too much lately. Let's take a look though. The higher lows. I mean, yeah, there's something here. I mean, at 500, I mean, who's to say it can't do that again at some point? Probably not this year, but yeah, no, it does look pretty good. I don't know. There's some good fundamentals behind it. Yeah, I will say that. Let's look at algo versus Bitcoin here. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, give it 6 months, see what it does against Bitcoin. Meta, so everything got crushed in 2022, big time. 76% down. Jim Cramer's crying. Maybe 50%. That's a good place right there, kind of that area. And it would probably coincide with this. What time frame? 2 week, 200 SMA. Similar to, if you got in there, 177, not too shabby. Similar right there. So there's some potential opportunities. The thing too is like, I'm just curious what this has done against, will these outperform the, triple Q? I mean, this hasn't done too well against it. And, since back here, that was a jump up. That was Meta versus triple Q. Man, what else is there? So it was Meta versus triple Q. I mean, if we look at triple Q itself, come on. That was, yeah, 200. Yeah, it went down below it a little bit. I mean, you're probably not coming down to full 30%, but yeah, that would be a good deal there. NVIDIA triple Q. Let's look at that because that's that's gonna probably, that weekly evaluation there is probably gonna get, 21, 20, yeah. Oh, well, I've got the wrong, hold on. NVIDIA, yeah. A little bit more data there. Ooh, perfect right there, 22. Will it hit that point again? I mean, it's possible. 50 maybe against the NASDAQ. I don't know. Don't know. But this does not look good, guys. Does not look good. Nvidia don't look good right now. I want to look at that for Palantir. The AI stuff, yeah. I don't know how much this will come down against the NASDAQ, but it could come down quite a bit. I mean, to go down this much against the price, maybe not. I don't know. Big area though, kind of a big area. 70% down against NASDAQ. I think this is gonna come down. Thing too is like, I mean, $70 for this maybe, and that would be the same freaking correction that Nvidia had, or Netflix had in Nvidia and Netflix had in 2022. What's wrong with Nvidia? There's nothing wrong with it, Carlton. It just looks overheated, man. It just looks like that AI bubble is going to come down a bit. That's what I think. There's nothing wrong per se, but I just think you're going to get better deals if you catch my drift. Going forward. That's what I will say. So yeah, there's that. Yeah. I mean, okay, so that was Palantir. I mean, some other AI stuff. There was CoreWeave. I don't know. There's one guy that's got a lot of followers on Twitter who thinks this may not survive, but I don't know. Yeah, that could be said about a lot of these things, obviously. That daily. This area right there, I would think you're close to a potential, you're close to that pullback and maybe back down to some of these lower areas. This has just gotten slaughtered. 64. I mean, some of these could go down to full 80. Yeah. I mean, these are kind of like the crypto stonks of last bear market, I would say. I would think Coinbase probably could make a higher low, hopefully from there, 60%, but it could go farther, man. Like this goes 70. Yeah, this could go down more. Definitely could go down more, so keep that in mind. So I would think that would come down more. I would think everybody's calling it a Ponzi scheme, a scam, MicroStrategy. I'm not the biggest person to it. Yeah, I'm not really the biggest person to try to invest in MicroStrategy, but 90% there, 84 could be slightly better this time around. I think in the long term, like this is already, like I feel like this valuation is not the worst thing in the world. I just want to look at this against, I don't know, Bitcoin maybe. Come on. It has outperformed it since June of 22. Maybe that's the, I don't know. It bottoms before. I mean, if you're thinking about it, it does bottom before Bitcoin generally. But I do think it can go lower. I wouldn't buy it at the moment. MicroStrategy SPY, let's do. I'm just curious about. Yeah, I mean, it crashed. Okay, that was .com bubble, so 87% against the SPY there. This time maybe it's just 85 down to this moving average on your 3 week. I don't know. I mean, you're getting close to there. MicroStrategy is interesting. I mean, it's the thing too is it's MicroStrategy is interesting. I'll say that. Very decisive when to buy crypto. Well, what I'll tell you, that's a great question, Vin. Well, I'll talk about that in just a second after I analyze this. Yeah, this is coming. I can see it's coming down a little bit more. I would look for the, maybe the monthly trigger against ETH there. We'll see. But when to buy? So amazing question, obviously. And I'm not going to give you a BS answer. I'm going to tell you when to buy. And I think the time to buy is going to be when these EMAs turn bright again on Bitcoin, wherever that may be, whether that's, in a couple weeks, you know, in February, whether that's 6 months. I think that'll probably be the time to buy. You know, when was the time to buy here? You know, in January 23. I mean, okay, you didn't get in at the exact bottom. You jump up to 22K. Still a pretty damn good place to get in 22K. Now let's kind of just, I mean, even we back test this, you know, that jump. Let's back test this from, this is going to get interesting because if we back test this, okay, obviously here was great, you know, 4,000, you had to deal with pandemic and all that, but right there, you had to have some iron. Had to have some iron there. It was some strong willpower, but you know, most of these times, you know, you could have sold here. You know, you could have played that strategy, doubled your money basically, sold. I mean, you would have gotten back in at not much of a better place there, and then got crushed. So, but that didn't work. You don't want to, you know. I wouldn't, when there's a big crash and you go into the gray, I wouldn't count that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't really count that. It's like when you slowly go into the gray, like there is a better time to sell generally and get back in there. You know what I mean? It got weird there. You would have had to have a little bit of courage, but I think most of us have enough courage. You know what I mean? But right there, yeah. I mean, those places are pretty good. I want to even like back test this, go even farther back. You know what I mean? Like let's go to Bitcoin all-time history, and we're on our let's go to our 3-day. I just want to go back to, I want to go back to the time I first bought Bitcoin, first learned about it. And this was in around December, January of 21. So yeah, right. I mean, 250, not a bad place. And then 250, yeah, same thing there. I mean, I don't know how many people were doing TA on Bitcoin back here. I mean, obviously this would not have worked out at all, but you could have sold there, you know what I mean? And then got back in. I mean, there's going to be no foolproof strategy, but I do like the 3-day EMAs here. 2011, not a bad place. $5, you know, $5. You would have been. I wonder. I'm just thinking like $5 to 1,000. Like what kind of return would that have been? Okay, so that's a 200x. So if you invested 10 grand, you would have had 2 million if I'm doing it correctly. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah. Strategy. Yeah. I mean, I think with strategy, like I wouldn't doubt it as much as most people do. I wouldn't buy it at the moment. What we could, I mean, I want to look at this against like, I mean, this one's probably the BMMR is probably more likely to do well than the freaking. It's interesting how it just generally outperforms that. I think the sequel's always worse. Let me just look at BMMR, the BitMine or whatever. But yeah, Undo, I don't think it look, to me it doesn't look that attractive, but in terms of fundamentals, I guess maybe. Um, I know a lot of you guys like it, or a lot of people like it. I wouldn't doubt it completely. I mean, it's a good deal, but I kind of am afraid it's just going to go down lower. It doesn't look attractive to me at the moment, but maybe I'm wrong. Polygon's another one where, I mean, you kind of got your jump. Oh yeah, I think this is just foreboding what's going to happen with Bitcoin because it got its jump up and then, I mean, yeah, I don't know. This is just, maybe drop down. So yeah. Well, there's that. That place right there. Let's see. I mean, there's a Tesla. I think is pretty cooked in my opinion. I think that's going to come down a bit. The thing too is I just want to look at, you know, SPY is probably going to outperform the triple. Shut up. SPY is probably going to outperform the triple Q. Yeah, I would think. Right there. I would think you'll see a jump. I don't know if it's going to be that much. The other thing too is let's look at like, what's the home builders ETF? This one, probably because of the Trump stuff. This is getting a little jump. I think maybe it'll go down with everything else, but I want to look at this against. Yeah, against the SPY. This could be one of those years. Yeah. I mean, it generally does like trend upward, you know, since these areas against the SPY. So I do think, yeah, I do think that'll outperform the SPY a bit. That's an interesting ETF because that probably outperforms like those real estate, you know, investment trust ETFs or whatever. Yeah, always generally. Home builder ETF, yeah. I think it will keep going. The indicator EMAs, like EMAs on Market Cipher A, EMAs on the 3-day. That's the indicator. And I'll use that signal to, you know, buy Bitcoin. I want to look at that. I didn't really look at that too much in Oxy, for example, but I want to look at that in Oxy because you might be getting something cool on your, not yet, but see, these EMAs are going to get into the brights here, probably. I mean, you got it on the daily. That's not the strongest thing, but you're probably going to see it more like, I mean, it's been a while since this has really ran, but hopefully more like that. Because December 21, if we compare it to, yeah, mid-year, I would hope for, I mean, this could be interesting because just look at that. That's December 21 here. What's this? I mean, it's April 25, but December 21 to your high of June or whatever, you know, that's December. Can this double? This, I don't think this can double in the next 6 months, but $60, you know, 50, you know, that's doable. You know what I mean? Definitely doable. That's what I will say here. So that's what I'm looking at. Yeah. That right there, yeah. Probably gonna wrap it up in a couple minutes, guys. Not much else to talk about, but I think that home builders ETF probably outperform the SPY. I think Oxy probably will outperform the SPY by quite a bit. Energy, I'm pretty bullish on. Uranium, I mean, I'm not an expert on that stuff, but if you guys, I know a lot of people like it right now. It probably will continue to go up too. I think Powell's going to try to knock that stuff down. I mean, Powell could knock down everything theoretically, but I am kind of bullish on the energy stuff right now. Short term, very bullish on Bitcoin ETH. I think this is going to break upward, guys. So I'll give you a little freebie, just typical Bitcoin, trade right here. We're at what, 93? We probably are going to, yeah, we could end up at 100 by the end of this day, maybe. But something like that, 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, something around there, all the way up to 102. That could absolutely work out well. If you guys want to make this trade, obviously risk management, don't bet any more than you're willing to lose, because most likely this should win, but you never know. Check out BYDFI and BloFin. BloFin, you get deposit 7K, get 1,000. BYDFI, deposit 20K, get 2,000. So check those out. Remember, if you deposit at least 150 bucks on either of those, I'll give you one free month and Aldo Empire via Discord. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll do a live chat in the Discord. I said I would do it hopefully today. Maybe we'll do it like right after this. I want to go to the gym and get a little bit of shopping done. But